Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. You join us out in the beautiful Thamesmead here in the very east side of London because we've got a long run to do today. It is Saturday. We're about 7 or 8 weeks out from Manchester Marathon, so it's long run time. These will be the key sessions that are going to get us where we need to be come Manchester Marathon race day. And we've got a fun little twist on today's long run because we've got 3 different shoes to wear for the run. A little comparison because we're going to have a dedicated sort of Vaporfly Alphafly Streakfly video coming up. So just want to get some miles logged in all these different shoes. Lots of entertaining stuff. Let me know how your running is going. It'll be great to catch up and what you're training for coming up soon. So for now, we're going to go and get the bike out and get the first pair of shoes on these Streakflies, and we'll take you through everything we're doing today. Hope you guys are well. We'll see you in a bit. Starting the run nice and gentle for the first 5k, easing into it. So yeah, you may see some amazing locations around the world where people are training. Flagstaff, Boulder, Iten in Kenya, Samaritz in Switzerland. But no, we're here outside Crossness Sewage Works in Thamesmead on the east of London. But it doesn't matter where you are, it's all about getting it done. And that's what we're here to do today, getting ready for Manchester Marathon. The first part of the run, 5k easy, and then 5k marathon pace, which is where my marathon pace is currently, or where I think it is. Around about 3:40 a k pace, around 2:34 for the marathon.
So are you just going to put in the same amount of effort in for each of the 5k blocks, do you think?
Marathon effort, yeah, well, probably be a little bit harder later in the run. Here we go, we've made it to Woolwich. Glorious day today, so sunny. Just waiting for the watch to clip down to that first 5k, and then we'll pick it up to that 3:40k pace. See how it feels. Oh, gotta go! So guys, marathon pace should never feel hard. You can almost say you should be able to have a conversation like I am having with you guys here, especially for the first 30k or 25 to 30k of a marathon. Should feel nice and controlled, so long as you don't go off too fast. So here we are, 3:40 pace exactly. Happy, feels nice, and it's so good to do this, to practice your pacing in all of your training and know what you feel like in the early part of the races, so you don't go off too fast. Right guys, into the first 5k block in the Streakflies. Yeah, I think we probably averaged 3:39s through that. So nice and controlled. These shoes just roll super nicely, having that feel loads of the ground, feel really connected to it, which you don't get with the higher stack carbon shoes. So for that shorter racing, where you're really looking for that really sort of high turnover, feel connected, feel right, I think they're going to be really good. But we'll find out on Friday, because that's what everybody wants to know, is whether these will be faster than the Vaporflies Alphaflies over the 5 and 10k. Now it's going to take about 3 or 4 minutes to quickly change the shoes and get out in the Vaporflies for the next 10k section. I would just quickly say, obviously this is not normal training. This is half being a YouTuber and half training for Manchester Marathon. You don't need to change your shoes mid-thing, but I'm obviously in the habit of testing shoes, want to give you guys reviews to help you out with all of your shoe buying choices. So that's why I'm doing this today. There's no reason to this other than making YouTube videos about shoes. For long runs, go out in your race day shoe, your comfiest shoe, if you want to stop during the run to take on some fuel, then do. If you stop for a minute, 90 seconds or something, take on a little bit of liquid, a couple of gels or something like that, not doing anybody any harm, and it won't really affect your run at all. People like say you can't stop during the run, you've got to get like keep going. Yeah, it's good with your mental health, but also getting dehydrated and things isn't great. So just stop, take 60 seconds, get a drink down and crack on with your run. Right, with the click of the Garmin, guys, we're now out in the next percent Vaporflies. They feel so different, really sort of, how am I describing that? So they really do sort of propel you. There's a lot more assistance in this type of shoe with that carbon plate. Let's have a chat once we've got through the 5k easy pace when we're up to speed and marathon pace. Here we go, 5k in at the Vaporflies, much higher stack height, right up to the legal limit, and that massive carbon pace in there, and much heavier as well. Right, let's get this done. Such a different feeling in these shoes. You don't have to put any more effort in, but the back end of a marathon, going to make a lot of difference having a shoe like this, which is where these high stack height carbon shoes come into their own. It's not through the first half of the marathon, through the second half. Guys, if you like these kind of videos, smash that like button and let me know in the comments what shoe are you most excited to run in at the moment from everything out there. If it's one I don't have, I'll get it in. That's the 5k done in the Vapors. Yeah, I own all three of these shoes. They're all great shoes, but this is hard. You can't do these things as a fair comparison. Let's go and get the Alphas on and finish this session off. Got the Alphaflies on, much heavier again. I mean, heavy relatively speaking to the others. It's still quite a light shoe. Those AirPods adding to that weight. Bit flatter, bit less drop. Stack height still right up at the 39.5 legal limit for road racing shoes. All these extra things will just help in the back end of some long races, but not comfortable at all. Really don't enjoy running in these shoes, but they are very fast, as we're probably about to find out. This is where the hard work happens, getting ready for that back end. I keep saying that, the whole back end of the marathon. Right, come on, Alphaflies, what have you got? Let's get this done. Yeah, people can certainly hear you coming. There we go, guys. Run done. Last K there in 3:27. Having a bit of fun on the last rep. I think overall we're going to win about 3:31, 3:31 pace. But enjoyed pushing it a little bit on the last rep there. Once these Alphaflies are up to speed, they just cruise. They're like a solid cruiser. Not the fastest shoe, but over a long distance can hold that pace and keep that fatigue at bay, which is what it's all about. Right, let's get packed up here. So overall 30.02k in 3:58 pace overall and 1:59.05 running time, I guess. Hope you enjoyed following along with that today. Yeah, I thought we'd just have a quick chat about these 3 shoes that, yeah, I was just running in. But I thought we'd have a little bit of a deep dive into the facts and figures, and you can see how I will be using these 3 shoes in my training. So there's not that many similarities between these 3 shoes. They all do have the Nike Zoom X foam for the cushioning at the bottom of the shoe. As we said in the last Streakfly video, this doesn't have a carbon plate. It has this Perbex shank in the middle of it to help that transition through. And the Vaporfly and the Alphafly do have carbon plates. All of the Vaporfly carbon plates are all the same size in every single shoe size that you can get. And actually the Alphafly carbon plates do get bigger as your shoe size gets bigger. So here I am in a size 12. This is a huge carbon plate and very, very stiff. Really, you can only expect to get about 200 to 300 miles out of these shoes at sort of full optimum sort of efficiency before the foam does start to break down. That doesn't mean you can't use these for training sessions for many hundreds, even 1,000 miles. You see people go out and doing their training sessions in this, but for that sort of peak performance that you want to get on race day, around about 200 to 300 miles. Right, let's start by first having a look at the Nike Streakfly. So about £135 here in the UK. Dare I say it, that's not that bad of value. 32mm stack, 6mm drop. It's actually quite nice there. That's where I sort of like my drop to be in some of my sort of racing shoes. And coming in at that all-important 210 grams. Very, very light. That's here in my UK size 12. We'll chat about the weights of the other shoes in a second. So to understand the benefits of a shoe like this, you've got to really think about it on the end of a pendulum, which is what your leg is, swinging around like this. And because it's super light, your muscles and things aren't getting as fatigued to transport you and your body sort of along the road. So in an ideal world, we would have nothing on our feet, but the Zoom X foam helps to propel us along the road as well. So it's hitting that sweet spot between propulsion that we're going to get from the shoe and not tiring ourselves out too much by carrying this extra weight along with us. And that's why this is labeled as that 5 to 10k shoe, because if you're going to go much longer than that, the higher stacked height shoes of here will really help keep that fatigue at bay coming back into the back end of a half marathon or a marathon when we start to really get tired. So running a marathon or marathon is possible in something like this, but you've got to be super strong and sort of at elite speed so you're not out there for that long. So out of all of these 3 shoes, this has been by far the most comfortable shoe to run in. I've really enjoyed it, and going out and doing that 5k, that sort of marathon effort was an absolute joy. I wish I could have done them all in this shoe. Really nice, that super lightweight. But had I done that last rep in this shoe, I think when my muscles were aching, it would have been particularly hard on the body. So where am I going to be using this shoe? Well, essentially 5k racing and sessions as well, which is what you've been seeing me doing. I've got a 5k race on Friday, hopefully getting well back under 16 minutes for that one. Stay tuned, we'll bring that video to you. I've actually got a pair to give away, so turn on notifications, subscribe, and get notified when we upload that video. So moving on, we've got the Vaporfly. I've seen many miles and races in this shoe. Just absolutely love it. It really is that shoe that is suitable for absolutely everybody, whether you're running a marathon in 2 hours or 6 hours plus. This shoe will give you some benefits out there, no doubt. Maximum stack height here, 40mm at the back, 8mm drop. It gets you really nice up on your toes, really helps promote that really sort of good form, that nice forward lean, and helps getting the legs turn over really nicely. So this is coming in at 250 grams, which is a nice sweet spot. Yes, it's a significant weight increase from the Streakflies, but yeah, nothing like the Alphaflies that we'll come on to in a second. But where the shoe really comes into its own is that massive stack height at the back with the Zoom X foam. Just helps keep your legs going for so much longer during those half marathons and marathons, and just it enables you to really get the most out of yourself come at the back end of those races. Keeps that decline at bay and keeps you powering through to the end. There are some negatives. The price, £225 to £250. It's a hell of a lot of cash for a shoe that you're not going to get that much use out of. But if you want to put everything in to your race day and make sure you've got every option box ticked, this is going to get you that sort of 1, maybe 2% performance. And finally, let's have a chat about the Alphafly, a really Marmite shoe. Just look how much screen space that that is taking up there. So 40mm stack height, and it only has a 4mm drop, so fairly flat shoe, which is really not what you'd expect. You've got the carbon plate running all the way through the shoe, and the AirPods at the front here for that extra bit of propulsion and absorbing that impact as you go as well. Let's start with a few negatives. There's quite a lot with this shoe. It is incredibly loud, as you probably heard when I was running along there. That slapping noise as you go along. People will hear you coming, and people have stopped using this shoe because you end up being a little bit self-conscious while running and racing as well. It's just huge. It's incredibly clumpy. It just takes up a lot of space, and it makes you feel a little bit like some sort of clown as well, with this huge monstrosity on the bottom of your feet. It's also very much on the narrow side, especially through this sort of mid-foot area. It really hugs your feet down. My feet are quite narrow anyway, and this is pretty much on the limit for me. And I really would say this is very much a mid-foot or forefoot striker kind of shoe. If you're heel strike, you're just not going to get the benefit of those AirPods, so you'll be much better off in the Vaporflies. And also finally, I've never had a pair of AirPods bust in some Alphaflies, but I've had 6 pairs of Tempo Next Percent's AirPods bust on me. It's just incredibly frustrating, and there is a real risk in your race that could happen. And if one of these things deflates mid-race, yes, you can still run in them, but it's not going to be much fun at all, and it could be a real game changer. That's a potential risk that you might or might not want to take. But essentially, this shoe was designed for one man, which was Eliud Kipchoge, when he wanted to break the 2-hour mark in the marathon. And it's designed for him. This is his foot, which is why this is a real Marmite shoe. If you've got some nice running form, a high cadence and things like that, and you're landing at the forefront of the shoe, it's going to work for you. But if you're not, if you've got a bit of a lower cadence, a bit of a heel striker, it's going to feel very uncomfortable to run in. That's my take on it. I like to think that I've got okay running form, and I'm landing at the front of the foot, and that's why I tend to really like using this shoe. And I like using it on all sorts of different distances because it's just fun to run in. For me, this will probably be my marathon race day shoe come the next marathon in Manchester. So there we have it, guys. That's the latest offerings from Nike. We're going to get some loads of other shoes in from Puma, from Hoka, from New Balance, as they all have new things. But I thought that would help you with some decision makings if you are considering one of these type of shoes. Hope you found the video useful. Please like, share it with your friends, and follow along with all the training we're doing in the build up to Manchester Marathon. Cannot wait to see you there. Thank you to the Patreon supporters, the legends here on YouTube. Please check out the website, the latest gear, training plans, and all of that sort of fun stuff, and of course the best running hats in the business as well. That's it. Lots of love, guys, and we will see you in the next one.